Today we're going to do the back page of our factoring trinomial notes, and it also extends from the last video. So now we're going to factor, and we'll always use the big X for trinomials, but then we get to choose how we finish factoring. There are two methods I will show you. I'm going to start with the one on the left, which is the box method, and we're going to copy the big X we had from our last page. So we found out that this big X here for our 2x squared plus 9x plus 10, I know it's a trinomial because there's 1, 2, then 3 separate terms added or subtracted together. And our big X was 20 up top, 9 on the bottom, and 5 and 4 on the sides. The 5 and 4 is on the sides of our big X. So that's going to split our big X term here. So our X term is 9X. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. That is now not going to be 9X anymore. It's going to be split into 5X and 4X. How did I know to split it into 5 and 4? It's because that was the numbers on the sides up here in light blue of our big X. The first term gets brought down, we did nothing with it, and the last term gets brought down, we did nothing with it. Now that you have 4 terms, we're going to draw a 2 by 2 box here. The 2 by 2 box is what we've seen before, but now this time instead of filling the outside, you're going to fill in the inside. 2x squared plus 5x plus 4x plus 10. I go left to right and top row to bottom row when I'm filling it out. How I go ahead and get the first row header is dividing, because we used to multiply, now we're doing the reverse, which is dividing. So I'm seeing what I can divide out of both of these terms, and that's just 1x here. So that is going to go whatever I divide by in the first row header. After dividing, that is my result that goes up top here at the top of these columns. So 2x squared divided by x is 2, and then x, because I subtract those exponents, 2 minus 1 is 1. And then over here, 5x divided by x is just a positive 5 because, again, I divide x by x, and that cancels out. Okay, how we get the bottom row header is looking at the first column. Again, divide out what they both have, and that is a 2x I just represented up top there. So when I divide each term by 2x, that's what goes out in front. I double check that it is x when I divide 2x squared by 2x, and I check the bottom one now. X divided by x cancels out, and 4 divided by 2, numbers divided by number, is just division of 2. Check your last box. Make sure you got this number when you multiply the top by the row. 5 times 2 is indeed a positive 10, so you did it correctly, and you have to go to parentheses now. 2x plus 5, you write the top numbers in one parentheses, and then the numbers on the left side in another. That is the box method. For grouping method, we do the same exact first two steps. So I'm going to rewrite 2x squared plus 9x plus 10, and I'm going to split that middle term up. That 9x term becomes now 5x and 4x. Added, those are still 9, but it creates 4 terms for us, which we need for both methods. For grouping method, you divide this whole problem in half. And what you're going to do is what we did before, which is greatest common factoring. I put lines under both 2x squared and 5x and divide out what they have in common. Just 1x is the result, what I'm bringing outside. What's left inside my parentheses is what I get after dividing out. 2x squared divided by x is just 2x. 5x divided by x is just a positive 5. Let's go ahead and try this second problem. or this second side because it's the same problem. We go ahead and again put lines under 4x and 10. They are both divisible by 2, so I'm going to go ahead and make that my greatest common factor outside with a plus sign. It wasn't a negative 2. Now the result inside my parentheses is dividing. 4x divided by 2 is 2x, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. If you have the same exact parentheses here, you know you did it right. That is now going to be combined into one parentheses, 2x plus 5. Your other parentheses, it's so important, is the numbers left in front of your parentheses. X is left in front of your first parentheses, and 2 is left in front of your second. Add them together, we get x plus 2 in that first parentheses. As you see, I have the same answer both times, and it's okay to switch the parentheses like we had. So I'm circling the first answer now. That was 2x plus 5 in the first parentheses, then x plus 2 in the second. Second correct answer, 2, we just flip the parentheses to have the quantity of x plus 2 first times the quantity of 2x plus 5 second. Let's go ahead and try some more here. So again, we pick the method you like best and factor these 3 here. We're going to go ahead and do them, and we're going to use the information we had started in the previous video. So for my second problem here, I'm going to copy over this big X. 4 in the top, negative 4 in the bottom, negative 2 in the two sides. Copying that over. Again, 4 in the top, negative 4 in the bottom, and negative 2 on my sides. That is how we found our big X for this problem. Now we go ahead, next thing to do is take and highlight that negative 4x because it's being split into what we have on the sides of our big X. Negative 2x and negative 2x. Bring down the first term, x squared. We did nothing with it. Then we'll also bring down the last term plus 4 because we did nothing with it. Now that we have 4 terms, we're going to our box method. So draw a 2 by 2 box here. We go ahead and write in the first box the first term, x squared. Second term goes in the second box, negative 2x. Then go down to the bottom row for the third term, negative 2x. And then the last term, 4. Alrighty, let's go ahead and again highlight this first row here. In this first row, what I can divide out of both terms is going to be 1x. That goes outside in front of my row. Up top of each column is what's left after dividing x from each term. X squared divided by x is just 1x left. Subtract those exponents. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then over here, negative 2x divided by x stays negative 2. But then x divided by x cancels out because 1 minus 1 makes 0, which is going to be a multiplication of 1 to that negative 2. Let's go ahead and look at our column. Again, looking at the column, what can I divide out of both terms? And that is just an x. So since I'm able to just divide x from each term, I go ahead and make sure that is my top column number. And the result after dividing is these row headers. X squared divided by x is x. That's already listed there. And then negative 2x divided by x is just negative 2. Check for the last box. We have negative 2 being multiplied to negative 2 to create that last box of positive 4. And that's true. So we know we did it correctly. And here we go writing it out. X minus 2 is the two top numbers, and the two side numbers goes in the second parentheses, x minus 2. You will also see this written, especially in multiple choice problems, as x minus 2 squared, because all that means is we're multiplying x minus 2 twice, and that's exactly what we have here. For problem number 2, let's reference back to the front page of our notes. Again, that's this third one where we have negative 20 up top of the x, 19 at the bottom, and then 20 and negative 1. So let's copy that down. Again, negative 20 up top, then we have 1 at the bottom, and then we have 20 and negative 1, or 19 in the bottom, excuse me. We also had to rearrange this one already to 5x squared plus 19x minus 4 to make sure it's in standard form. Now, here's our next step. From the big X, we take that middle term and split it into the side numbers we got in our big X, 20 and -1 in this case. Make sure to put X on them because you are splitting the X term. 5x squared stays put out in front, and so does the -4 at the last term. Once you have four terms, that's when you go to your box. Into the box, you put each term. Start in the top box, top left, and I finish in the bottom right, filling in all four terms, one term in each box. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the first row here, highlighting it out. Both 5x squared and 20x are divisible by 5 and x. So since they're divisible by 5 and x, that's what I write out in front of the row. In the columns is after dividing those, what I get as a result. So 5x squared divided by 5x is just 1x. And then 20x divided by 5x is just 4 and no x left. Now let's go ahead and look at our first column. First column again, see what I can divide it by both 5x squared and -1. That is just 1x. Just 1x from both. So after dividing 1x, I should get the result in the row in front of my number. 5x squared divided by 1x is 5x. And then -1x divided by x, this bottom row is going to have -1 as a result in front. Check your work by multiplying the last number up top with the last number in front of the column. 4 times -1 is indeed -4. You know you did it correctly. X plus 4 is the first parentheses, the number up top, and 5x minus 1 is the second parentheses, the numbers in front on the left. Let's try the last one again, referencing back to our big X. We had -42 up top, 1 on the bottom, and 7 and -6 on the side. Don't forget, we also divided out 3 for this problem, so please look at the last bottom right problem to see that 3 will be as a result in front of all my parentheses in the end. So let's go ahead and copy that over again. -42 up top, and then we had 1 on the bottom, and it was 7 and -6. What we had here was we divided 3 from each term because that was the greatest common factor in the beginning. Left in my parentheses, outside is 3, but inside left is 2x squared plus 1x minus 21. Alrighty, we again circle that or highlight that x term because it's now being split into the two numbers we chose, 7x and -6x. Make sure to keep the x's with it because it was in our big X splitting that middle term. First and last term get brought down. And don't forget about the 3 out in front. The 3 out in front just stays as is. We already divided it out in the beginning, so we're not going to do anything more with it. Now we go ahead into our box, just put what's in your parentheses. So that is a 2x squared for the first box, 7x for the second box, -6x for the third box, and for the fourth box, -21. Again, highlight your row and see what you can divide from both 2x squared and 7x. Well, that's just going to be 1x there. When you divide out 1x, the result goes at the top of each column. 2x squared divided by x is 2 and 1x left. 7x divided by x is just a +7 with no x's left. Okay, let's go ahead and highlight our first column here. See what I can divide out from both 2x squared and -6x. Well, I can divide an x from both, as well as they're both divisible by 2. So that goes in my top column. In the rows is just the result left after dividing. So in the first row header, I have a result of x because 2x squared divided by 2x is just 1x left. In the bottom row header, I'm going to go ahead and see that I have -6 divided by 2, which is -3. And no x's left because, again, you subtract the exponents. 1 minus 1 is 0. The x's cancel out. In the first parentheses is going to be 2x plus 7. Those are the numbers together in the top of your columns. In the front of your rows, two numbers together, you put in parentheses, x and -3. Check your work. Make sure that 7 and -3 do multiply to -21 in your last box. You know you did it correctly then. All we need to do now to finish out this problem out is bring down the 3 that you divided out in the very first step because it just goes multiplied outside all of our factors here.